My name is Tori Smith, and I would like to do the DARPA CIA Child Trafficking Operation Report for Sunday. Oh, sorry, I forgot the date. What was Sunday? The 6th. I'm sorry, the 6th of March. 67 children were killed in 4 locations. And these were, again, African children brought here by AFRICOM. AFRICOM is a privately owned child trafficking agency. And it's really horrible what they do, too. A lot of times, like recently, they just went into a small village in Africa and killed all the adults. Well, that's the United States way, to murder people and steal what they have. In that case, they murdered all the adults of the village and then took their children and brought the children over here for child trafficking. That was like over 200 and some children. This time they murdered 17 adults and the children, and they were, in America, these people would be considered terrorists, but in true terms, they were considered to be concerned citizens who were trying to protect children from being kidnapped. And so, it's like people call me every name in the book. But see, there's the way heaven sees things, and then there's the way the United States of America sees things. And United States of America always sugarcoats and compliments their own people who rape and murder. And that was the case here. When these 17 adults were murdered, and they took 67 children from this village. 12 of these children, a lot of times they could like to go through and select the ones that are the cutest. They were tagged for rape by the AFRICOM soldiers, who are former Army, Navy, Air Force, and Marines. 18 of these soldiers raped the children on their way over. They took them to Andrews Air Force Base, where they were gang raped by a group of 81 Air Force males. And then they were distributed to 4 locations: Arlington, Virginia. In the Arlington MyLab, 21 children were gang raped by a group of 117 males. The CIA, DARPA, Secret Service, and 21 children were murdered by a group of 8 reptilians. Langley, Virginia, 100% reptilians, not like the blends like most people here. On this planet, like the Bush family has a lot of reptilian human hybrids. The man acting as our governor of the state of Indiana is 58% reptilian and is some human. In Langley, Virginia, 20 children were gang raped by a group of 108 males while 10 females watched. DARPA, CIA, FBI, TSA, DHS, Secret Service, Army Special Ops, and the Air Force were the group that raped the children. And then these children were murdered by the same group of 8 reptilians. They were here from Margiela. And then Montauk was an especially grisly scene. 6 children were taken to the Montauk MyLab, which is in Long Island, New York. And they do a huge amount of genetic work there, crossbreeding any kind of animal and people you can imagine. And they also create a lot of clones there. And the staff, the entire DARPA staff, because that's who runs this, Montauk is all DARPA. 76 DARPA employees are the staff of Montauk. And they're all Nazi war criminals, but mostly Nazi scientists from Nazi Germany. And after the 76 staff members from DARPA raped the children, then they all watched as the commander murdered each child one by one. And the commander, who was not a very pleasant person, he was a 9-foot-tall reptilian. The species of reptilian is called Tsak Dahat, and he was from Margiela. Well, he and his team, they came in on he came in and had a staff of 36. There were 37 of them total. But I think what's really concerns me about this is very typical in America. The staff members of DARPA who raped the children, while they were watching this huge reptilian murder each child, they were very, very sexually aroused. The staff, well, they range. Most of them are 58% reptilian, 1 to 4% amphibian, and the rest human. Although also the lower ranked ones were 32%, are 32% reptilian, 1 to 4% amphibian, and then the rest human. And they consider this guy, the commander was his name, to be one of their greatest heroes. And then the last Roswell, 20 children were gang raped by a group of 402 military men. 402 military men raped 20 kids. Little African kids. Of the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, and Marines, DARPA staff, CIA, FBI, TSA, DHS. And all these 20 children were killed by a group of 16 reptilians, while over 200 military men watched. That's, you can tell how bitter I am. I am so disgraced and ashamed to be an American. I wish I could have just been born on another planet and never had to witness any of these horrible things. And for those of you who may be just watching for the first time, I was introduced to this DARPA CIA child trafficking operation, and while I was being raped, and I mean anal sodomy, they murdered 54 children in the room. And the man who's acting as our governor, Mike Pence, was there, and the former governor, who's now Purdue president, Mitch Daniels, he was there. Bill Gates was there. There were a lot of people there. Mitt Romney, Paul Ryan. There were 13 FBI agents there that each murdered a child. There was a lot of people there. I have that work put out. And then another time, while I was raped, they murdered 16 children in the room at a different My Lab. It's horrific to see, but Americans are very proud to murder. Most Americans, not everybody, because there's a lot of support for the light. There are a lot of people who are devoted to the light in America, but most of Americans love to murder. They support murder. You know, they get so excited when America goes into a country like Iraq. They murdered nearly 8 million people in Iraq, over 5 million people in Afghanistan, 3 million people the United States has murdered in Syria, nearly 2 million murdered in the Ukraine. The list goes on and on and on, and Americans absolutely love this type of behavior, but I say it's time to bring this child trafficking operation to an end and to arrest these horrible monsters. And I hope you agree. I hope you agree with me that Commander Dude was a horrible monster. He murdered 2.1 million people, 14 species of people that he murdered. 6 different types of 6 species of humans were included in that 14 different species. 2.1 million people murdered by this one guy. And he also raped 1,421 children of 3 different types of species of children that he murdered, according to his DNA. And by the way, once again, any of this information can be verified at the Hall of Justice and the Hall of Records. If you just want to go look at statistics without looking at the hard evidence, go to the Hall of Records. Thank you. God bless your hearts.